That's the invitation, is just notice any time that you're resisting what it is that you don't want and call off the war to say, okay, and really mean it. Really imagine that within yourself to be okay in that. Now, the amazing thing is that when you do this, then you're free to put your attention on what you want because what you want no longer is the opposite of what you don't want. Because before it was the opposite of what you don't want, right? If I want $1 million, it was just the opposite of I'm afraid I'm going to be homeless, toothless under the bridge. It was just my idiotic strategy of how I was going to avoid. Sorry, I call it idiot. It was my strategy. It was my brilliant strategy of how I was going to avoid being toothless, homeless under the bridge. So every time that I would try to put my attention on what I want, I couldn't help but put my attention on what I don't want because what I want was only ever just a facade on top of what I don't want. But when I free myself by saying okay to that, when I'm totally okay with being toothless, homeless under the bridge, then what I want is no longer attached to that. Has nothing whatsoever to do with that. If I want $1 million, then I want $1 million. It's a preference. It's a game. But it's not because I'm trying to avoid something. I can be completely at peace with the possibility of being toothless, homeless under the bridge. I'm not saying it's my preference, but I can be completely at peace with that so that it has no charge to it. Then I'm free. Now, amazing things happen. Amazing things. Because remember what I said earlier, I said there's two effective ways of dealing with desires. One is to let it go because you realize it's not really your desire. Second is to manifest it. If you have been pursuing a desire that's not really yours, just because you were trying to avoid something that you were afraid of, then when you release the charge attached to the thing that you were afraid of, then you're also liberating yourself from that desire. Because if the desire was only ever just a facade and nothing other than that, then once the fear is released, then the facade also goes. So the desire is no longer there. So you can let that go. If the only reason you wanted $1 million was to avoid being homeless, toothless under a bridge, then it's like, okay, what a relief. I don't have that desire anymore. I never had the desire. I'm always trying to avoid what I don't want. On the other hand, if the desire is authentically yours, which it may well be because, again, the desires that are truly yours are there because they're vehicles. They're vehicles for you to learn what it is that you want to learn. So if it's truly a desire of yours, now you're free to put your attention on that so that you can satisfy that, learn what it is that you want to learn. No longer being weighed down by trying to avoid what you don't want.